Hi everyone, welcome to the first week of the course. For this week I want to review chapters 1 and 2 with you, and we will also go over topics 1 and 2 quiz, which will be covering chapters 1 through 3. This will be a quiz that will be covering chapters 1 through 3, but the focus on the quiz will be on various multiple choice questions. And your preparation is very important for you to do well, as you only have one attempt. In some of these links, you'll notice this shows you the reading requirements. We have some links of outside resources that I think you'll find very helpful to connect the information. We also have overviews of the chapter, the PowerPoints. But I think you'll find these very interesting, and I think you'll find it very helpful as well for your focus in the course. So now, for Chapter 1, I'm going to go over some of the highlights. But in Chapter 1, we're looking at certain key terms within economics. When we look at economics, you'll notice that we're focused on the role of scarcity. Scarcity is how we make our decisions in economics. And economics is focused about the role of our limited resources with unlimited wants that we have. So we have a lot of wants. There's a lot of things we want, but not a lot of choices we have in terms of the resources. And you'll notice that economics is going to be focused about how we focus our study on the choices that we have to make. Now, in this section, we're going to be focused on how people make decisions. And principle number 1, and I'm going to skip around certain of the principles. Principle number 1 is going to be focused on how people face trade-offs. People face trade-offs in any decisions that they have to make, and these trade-offs are very important within markets. We have to make decisions between efficiency, equality. So efficiency is looking at how society gets the most out of their resources, whereas equality looking at fairness and how these resources are allocated. Another term we're going to focus on is the role of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is very important in decisions that we have to make, and every decision involves some type of opportunity cost. For example, for me to do this video right now, I have to give up something else, and my highest valued alternative, let's assume, would be watching TV. Every decision I have to do involves giving up something, and that's a key thing that we should be focusing on. Now let's look at some concepts in Chapter 2 that you'll find very important. Chapter 2 is going to be dealing with the circular flow diagram. The circular flow diagram is going to be focused on the model that's connecting both households and firms and how they interact. You'll notice that households and firms are going to be interacting in two different markets. They're going to be interacting in the market for goods and services and the market for the resources. And these market interactions are very important. You'll notice that firms buy and hire the factors of production. So basically, we sell ourselves to firms as we are the households, and households receive income for their services. Now what happens is we use our money, so households right here supply stuff in terms of their resources, firms pay them, and after they get paid, households go and buy things for the market for goods and services, whereas firms supply goods and services. So households go to a store where firms supply things, households buy things, firms give money to households in the market for resources. And you'll notice this is a very important diagram because when the economy goes through fluctuations, so if people, let's say we go through a recession and people lose income. If people lose income right here, they have less money to spend up here. And it creates a different type of effect, but it's in a very important type of market. The next thing we want to focus on, and it's in a very important graph I want to look at, is the role of the production possibility frontier. Now, the production possibility frontier is looking at an economy or a firm and how they utilize their scarce resources. If you look at this graph, you'll notice that this firm is focused on production of either producing wheat or computers. If they put all of their resources in the production of wheat, they only can produce 5,000 tons of wheat. Now, if they only put their production of all of their resources into computers, they can only produce 500 computers. This is their maximum consumption of both wheat and computers right here. And this is very important to note. This is their maximum consumption. And what we look at is anything inside this curve they can obtain, but they're not utilizing their resources efficiently. Anything outside this curve they're not able to obtain because they don't have enough resources. The key to this graph is when you move, let's assume, from point A to B, that means we're going to be producing 100 less computers. However, we're going to be producing 1,000 extra wheat. Now, for us to do that, we have to give up producing some computers to produce more wheat. Given that we're producing more wheat and we have to give up producing computers, that term is called opportunity cost. And that's the key that we're looking at with this graph. So this is looking at maximum consumption, or I should say production, and you'll also notice that we can only produce in this area. And when we are trying to give up something to get something, that's looking at the term opportunity cost. Another thing we want to look at within this graph is economic growth and how that's being described. Economic growth will be this outward shift of the demand curve right here. Outward shift of the PPF. And economic growth occurs where in this graph we produce both more in wheat and computers, and that's very important. So these are some of the topics that we're going to be discussing. If you have any questions or want more clarification, please let me know on these topics. But I look forward to your effort, and I'm here to provide any support that you need.